It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. It is Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. We are broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Nashville, Tennessee, just a stone's throw from the Tennessee State Capitol, where the Tennessee General Assembly is convening today in special session to consider a couple of stories. Number one, a couple of pieces of legislation. Number one is Universal School Choice, Education Freedom Act. Number two, aid for the flood victims of Hurricane Helene in East Tennessee. And number three, legislation to help Donald Trump get rid of illegal immigrants, to have local law enforcement help with that process. We're in favor of all of that. We do expect right now, our expectation is that the school choice bill will pass easily in the Tennessee State Senate. We get some inside scoop that there will be a narrow victory in the House. You need 50 votes to pass. We're hearing somewhere between 53 and 55, although there is a bit of skullduggery going on. And we'll talk with Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter, about that skullduggery at the bottom of the hour here. If you'd like to weigh in, we'd be delighted to hear from you. You know, a lot of you on the John Fredericks Radio Network, we've been doing this now on the John Fredericks Radio Network for a little over a year. But I think, you know, a lot of people are used to talking to John and calling on his 800 number as he precedes us here in our daily network on the John Fredericks Media Network. He's 4 hours a day from 6A to 10A Eastern. I follow up 10A to noon Eastern for all of his network, and then noon to 1 for the Tennessee bonus hour covering WENO 760 AM in Nashville and KQPN 730 AM in Memphis. We love to hear from you. We have a 615 number. You can call in. The number is 615-649-8477, 615-649-8477. So in this segment, we want to talk about immigration and Latin America and things going on in that arena. We'll start off with clip 14, Tom Homan talking about what he's doing to deport illegal aliens, most of them going back to Central America or South America.
What do you know about the Border Patrol agents exchanging gunfire with Mexico drug cartels from earlier?
They've taken gunfire, and it's going to get worse, Sean, because President Trump's going to seal that border. He's going to put the cartels out of business. He declared them a terrorist organization. We got the whole of government is going to dismantle these people and wipe them off the face of the earth. They're not going to go. They're not going to go lightly. We're taking them out of the trafficking business. We're taking them out of the smuggling business. We're taking them out of the dope business. There's going to be more violence on the southwest border. That's why Trump committed to calling the terrorist organization. He has. That's why the entire United States government is going to take care of those people and abolish them. We're going to attack them not just in Mexico, but in the 42 countries that Jalisco cartel is currently residing in. The Trump administration is going to take them on just like he did the caliphate, and we're going to destroy them.
I'm in favor of that. We're going to destroy him. David from Virginia wants to weigh in this morning. Good morning, David.
Hey, good morning. How are you today?
Well, I'm glad that you're calling in. What's up, David?
Kind of cold in Randolph this morning. Trump, you know, it's so rare that you come across a person that does what they say they're going to do. This is a lesson of character, I think, for every single person, especially young people. It's really refreshing and is really going to help us. I was thinking that if he had continued in 2020, we would not be in as good a position as we are now. He went to the desert.
Yeah.
He almost got shot twice, you know. He prayed and he came back. He brought the fire, and he's getting rid of the prophets of Baal to use a biblical reference.
Well, I think, David, you're exactly right. And if you think about it, And perhaps when you think about God's plan or the providential nature of how things have developed here, Donald Trump, if he had served a second term from 2020 to 2024, it would have been very different than this second term from 2025 to 2029.
Very different.
Very different because he would have still had the resistance from the left. The regime media would not have been discredited as it has been, and you would have not seen the growing sort of independent coalition. You would have not seen Elon Musk come to support him. You would have not seen Robert F. Kennedy Jr. come to support him. You would not have seen Tulsi Gabbard.
Served a purpose, actually. It motivated and galvanized people,
Well, David, you talk about that. It's the unintended consequences. Now, the Democrats thought, if you think about this, the Democrats thought that Trump was such a threat, they would have to violate the law in innumerable ways to try to put him away. However, what happened is their lawfare simply exposed their own lawlessness. Your thoughts on this, David?
I agree totally because, they went to the end. They did everything they could. They got every single dirty trick out of the book, and they failed, and it really galvanized people.
It really did. David, let me ask you this. I posed a rhetorical question in the first hour of the program to E.J. Host, who's here in studio with me, and that is, and I'll pose the same rhetorical question to you. For the past 7-8 days, it's been 20 hours a day of nonstop new news and information about everything Donald Trump is doing as our 47th president. Do you think that Donald J. Trump runs the risk of overexposure?
I don't, because he's a unique individual. Compare him to Joe Biden's press conferences. Donald Trump can give a press conference all day long and just answer your questions because he's not lying. He just tells what he's going to do and what he's going to do it.
So I think, David, you are eliciting there the same kind of upstate New York common sense that I have. Right.
We try not to lie in Frewsburg.
For those of you,
even though we have a lot to lie about.
For those of you who aren't familiar with our caller, David, he and I both grew up in the southern tier of upstate New York. Frewsburg is a small community just south of Jamestown, New York, in Chautauqua County. Randolph, where I grew up, is just across the county line in Cattaraugus County, about 12 miles from Jamestown, 12 miles due east of Jamestown, New York. Frewsburg is about, like 3 miles south of 3 miles south of Jamestown. So, David, thank you so much for calling in today. Really appreciate it.
Great to talk to you.
All right, there we go. David from Virginia, a native of Frewsburg, New York. My stomping grounds are not too far from my stomping grounds. I actually have fond memories of Frewsburg because when my dad, I'll tell you about my favorite memory of Frewsburg. My dad was a school teacher who then became a principal, and as he was promoted, we moved from town to town. And so we moved to Randolph at the beginning of my sophomore year, and I immediately went to play baseball. And one of my favorite recollections is making a whole bunch of new friends in Randolph, and I was a third baseman and good field, okay hit. And we went to Frewsburg, and we won a dramatic victory against the Frewsburg team. I think it was like 19-12. Not exactly a defensive battle. But that was my first memory of being in Randolph, New York, and it was playing the guys at Frewsburg. We'll have more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hey there, this is Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store. As a proud sponsor of this show, you may have heard Michael Patrick Leahy mention us a few times over the past 4 years. But today, it's me on the radio telling you how pleased we are to be associated with Michael Patrick Leahy and his dedication to the highest levels of professional journalism. Michael Patrick Leahy has been threatened with jail time in bringing the true facts about that Nashville Covenant shooting to his listening audience. Michael Patrick Leahy, you keep doing what you're doing, and we here at the Glock Store will keep sponsoring your show for the good of Nashville and the entire country. And I'm personally inviting all of your listeners to come visit and shoot at the Glock Store. It's where Michael Patrick Leahy learned to shoot a gun for the first time and where he bought his own personal Glock 19. I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of the Glock Store here in Nashville, just minutes from the airports, worth the drive from anywhere, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy and the Tennessee Star Report.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Call us at 615-649-8477, 615-649-8477. Or if you want to reach me on X, formerly Twitter, I'm Michael P. Leahy, Michael P. Leahy. Well, I'm up to 32,000 followers right now. Got to get that up to 100,000, so we'll be working on that here. 615-649-8477, 615-649-8477. Okay, we want to talk a little bit about foreign policy and moving illegal aliens out of the United States. Interesting foreign policy angle here. We saw Senator Ted Cruz has begun an investigation into Panama's violation of our canal treaty. And in essence, they've given over a lot of operational control to the Chinese Communist Party. That wasn't the deal, right? Trump's talked about that. We have testimony before Cruz's committee. I guess it's the head of the Federal Maritime Commission. I didn't know we had a Federal Maritime Commission, but okay. I'm sure we do. Here he's talking about how Panama's violated that canal treaty. Here we go. Clip 22.
In closing, the Panama Canal is vital to our economy, with over 75% of its traffic bound for our ports. Safeguarding the ACP's independence and addressing the challenges posed by the broader government are essential to maintaining U.S. competitiveness in the global economy. I look forward to your questions.
Okay. So basically then, that was the Federal Maritime Commission guy, and Cruz then asked him a whole series of questions. We don't quite have that clip. But basically he said, how many ways are they violating the treaty? And he went through like a dozen or so. Now, the other elements going on here is how the Democrat establishment, the regime media, and the NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, are plotting to violate the law. Ben Bergquam, you know Ben, you've seen him on Stephen K. Bannon's show, War Room. He's a Real America Voice correspondent. He was in Chicago, and he was giving a firsthand view of what the city of Chicago is or isn't doing with regards to getting rid of illegal aliens. Here we go. Clip 18, Ben Bergquam.
We are going to be showing the American people what the fake news that you just played in your open doesn't want them to see. The bad guys that these guys are arresting, the criminals, and really tying it back to the government that invited this in. She's making a big deal about flights going out every single day. Well, guess what, lady? You had flights coming in every single day. We had millions of people being brought in. We've got to have millions of people taken out. And right now, the biggest problem in that fight is the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois and all of these sanctuary cities and states that are blocking them. Every single person that we picked up yesterday had an ICE hold when they were in jail or in prison, and those ICE holds were not complied with by the state prisons or by the local jails. And so these guys, ICE had to go out into the community to get these guys.
Okay, let me take this over here now before we get to Stephen K. Bannon's comment. That was from yesterday. Ben Bergquam, a really great guy, a very brave guy. I mean, that guy has been all over this. He's been down to the Darien Gap. He's been in the Mexico side of the border. He's covered Arizona in the border, Texas in the border, California in the border. Now he's in Chicago. And of course, you know, this is right now. When it first came out, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years, 5 years ago, Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee would say, every city is a border city. Every state is a border state. That's true. And when she said it, oh, is that really true? Yeah, they're coming everywhere. Now, what's interesting about this is this Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, I didn't think it would be possible to have a mayor worse than Lori Lightfoot. But guess what? Brandon Johnson is worse. And he is in defiance of American law. He's in defiance of the Trump administration, as is the governor, J.B. Pritzker. They're saying that the law says if you have an illegal alien in your jail, you got to tell ICE. And it's called something called an ICE detainer. And so when you let them out, you need to hand them over to ICE so they can be deported. But they're not complying with that law. Where does all this go? I can tell you exactly where it goes. And the Attorney General of Illinois is very conscious of where it could go. Where it's going to go is if they continue this, and if they continue to refuse to comply with law, an arrest warrant will be issued by the Trump Department of Justice for the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, and the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. And they will be put in jail, or they will be arrested and tried for violating America's law with regards to ICE detainers. And I think, frankly, they'll end up being convicted. So there you go. And really, the old saying is, if you take over a new job as a boss, the first thing you do is find the most difficult person that is working under your authority, and you fire him immediately. This is what's going to happen. Brandon Johnson is about to get, in my view, arrested for violating immigration law in Chicago, and J.B. Pritzker isn't far behind. Now, what's interesting about this, the Attorney General of Illinois, who's a political hack, but not a stupid one, has come back and said, and he held a press conference the other day and was kind of very filled with caveats about it. In essence, saying, yeah, we don't like it, but we'll end up complying with the law. Now, it's not just the Democrat elected officials in these blue cities like Chicago and New York and Boston. It's also these ubiquitous non-governmental organizations, such as Catholic Charities. They get, about $1 billion a year from American taxpayers in order to facilitate the treatment of refugees and who supposedly come in legally, but also illegals. We saw the clip the other day of the attorney for Catholic Charities advising illegals how to evade the law. Not a good idea. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from Georgia, and the chairman of the DOJ subcommittee of the Oversight Committee, had a few comments for Catholic Charities yesterday. Here we go, clip 19.
I really enjoyed seeing that video again today. I've watched it several times, and so has our DOJ committee staff, because I'll be the first to tell Real America's Voice and your viewers, that woman and Catholic Charities will be coming before my subcommittee. We're not going to tolerate NGOs that take the American people's hard-earned taxpayer dollars and use it to enable and facilitate the invasion of America. And that is what Catholic Charities has been doing for a very long time. We're Christians too. We support all good things and helping people, but we will not allow our money to go towards those causes. So I look forward to meeting that woman, whatever her name is, but we're working on trying to find out.
Yeah. She's gonna appear before the DOJ subcommittee, and she's going to try to defend her advice to illegal aliens to evade the law. That's awfully hard to defend. I've been reporting on this when I was with Breitbart. Back in 2013, I wrote an extensive series of articles on the unholy alliance between these religious-themed NGOs and the federal government at the time under Obama, and the refugee admission program. Now, that program is different than illegal aliens. There is a law, the refugee resettlement law, which allows the President of the United States to bring in political and political refugees from various war-torn countries, up to 100,000 a year. It's been traditionally, and but they have to be vetted, and supposedly both for security reasons and health reasons. And the people, the organizations that accept money from the federal government to take these refugees that come in legally under the law, asterisk, and then resettle them and provide money for them for like 8 to 10 months. They're almost all religious-oriented groups. The Lutherans have a group that does it. Catholic Charities has it. The Episcopalians have a group that do it. And it is an absolute unholy alliance. All the people there that work there, the CEOs make 400, 500,000 bucks a year. When Trump came in the first time, they were putting in refugees from Syria that hadn't been vetted properly, and active and latent tuberculosis rates were extraordinarily high there. Trump came in and said, no, and it went down from 100,000 to like 17,000 by his last year. And then Biden came in and put it way back up. That stuff, it's stopping. It's totally stopping. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about a Tennessee issue with our Tennessee lead political reporter, Tom Pappert, a school choice special session here in Nashville. Back after this.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall and Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Our number 615-649-8477. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by our lead political reporter for the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
Well, just a stone's throw from here, from our studios in downtown Nashville, the Tennessee State Capitol, the Tennessee General Assembly is convening in the Capitol in a special session. They convened yesterday. They're getting down to the brass tacks today. At issue, the lead issue is the passage of the Tennessee Education Freedom Act, the signature program for Governor Bill Lee, which would establish 20,000 scholarships of $7,000 each to be used by parents of the million or so students that are in the K-12 public school system in Tennessee. Just 2% of them would be eligible for this program. It sounds like right now, from what I can tell, from your reporting, from my reporting on this, that this bill will sail through the state Senate. It's going to be a lot closer in the Tennessee House. My sources tell me they think they have between 53 and 55 votes in the House out of the 50 needed to pass it. But what's interesting about this, Tom, and you had a story, a couple things in the news seem to illustrate that the Tennessee public schools are not performing at the level you'd like. And part of the problem is a political problem. You have a story, breaking news from yesterday. Tennessee Speaker of the House Cam Sexton said that the Shelby County School Board's firing of the director down there was another reason to pass the Education Freedom Act. Talk to me about that.
Yes, Michael. So essentially what you have in Memphis Shelby County school system, the school board fired Dr. Marie Fegans, who had been in her position as superintendent for all of 9 months. She was very popular with the students, very popular with the parents, and even popular, yes, with the faculty. But she was accused of financial mismanagement, failing to disclose a donation, and not filing grants on time, all within a 9-month period. So she was summarily fired in a 6-2 decision about a week ago. Well, this, as you might imagine, they've gone through several of these, by the way. I think she's the fourth in 4 years. And Cameron Sexton said yesterday that this is another example of how Memphis and Shelby County are really failing the voters, and that the state might, in fact, come in and create a new school board, removing the people who are currently on it so Memphis Shelby County schools can get back to business. But the real problem is, according to Cam Sexton, that the parents in this city have no real options. When the county schools does something insane, they simply have to go along with it. And if they had the opportunity to get a scholarship and send their child to a private school, that might, for lack of a better term, put the fear of God into these government bureaucrats who allegedly abuse their position.
So it's interesting about this. There's a similarity between the idiotic school board in Shelby County, which is elected by the people, and the lunatic school board here in Metro Nashville. We'll get to that in a bit. 9 members of the Metro Nashville School Board, they're all left-wing lunatics with like zero common sense, but they're elected. And down in Memphis, 6 of these 8 people, They hired this director, which is their legal authority to do. And apparently, by all accounts, she was doing a good job. And somebody didn't like her. And they manufactured these claims that there was some kind of accounting irregularity. It was pretty clearly a hit job to get rid of her because they didn't like, she was probably causing some difficulty for some.
Well, and the rumor is, Michael, that she was investigating the district's financial state from prior to her taking the position, and that was when all of a sudden she had to go.
Right. And there was a big mess with the previous director, if you may recall, right? Couldn't account for money, et cetera, et cetera. So the problem is, I think it's a problem of the failure of local democracy to work efficiently in Memphis. That's the bottom line. I mean, they've elected them. They've elected these school board members, but they've elected people that are just complete idiots. That's the problem. That is an argument. I think the Speaker of the House said, yeah, this is another reason why you want to give the parents of kids that live in Shelby County, why should they be stuck going to these dysfunctional public schools in Shelby County? Why shouldn't they get $7,000 and be able to go to, apply that to a private school? That makes sense. Now, there's also an instance here in Nashville, in Davidson County, which I think is another illustration that parents need to have options, particularly low to middle class income parents. They need to have an option to send their kids to a school. And so the case in point is Antioch High School, 2,100 kids in a lower to mid income section of town that was unsafe, has a huge history of problems with kids. I guess it's like 50% Hispanic, 45% black there. Last week, Solomon Henderson, 17 years old, a black kid, went in with a pistol, who somehow he got into the school and shot and killed a 16-year-old Hispanic girl and wounded another kid and then killed himself. This is a school that for a period of time had metal detectors, according to sources, for a year or two. The school board director, Adrian Battles, who reports to the 9-member school board, removed those metal detectors. We don't know why. And then this killing happened, and then the following day they started putting the metal detectors back. This, to me, seems like Adrian Battles has no idea what she's doing, and she just gets up and yakety yaks but never does anything. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Well, and if you'll notice, one of the things that she said when she basically kind of tacitly confirmed that there were no metal detectors in place on the day of the shooting, she said, well, they lead to unequal outcomes and unintended consequences for the people who they're used. So that to me sounds like kind of a progressive talking point, saying that they're racist. Metal detectors are racist, so we can't have them. So we have potentially, it seems to me, in Antioch High School, placed the safety of students lower than virtue signaling to, I don't even know, I guess the parents and the teachers. Maybe the teachers' unions
Probably
don't like it. I'm not even sure. But yes, I think that it is fundamentally, it comes back to choice. If parents had a choice, they probably would not be sending their children to Antioch High School. And maybe if Antioch High School could get down to, say, 1,700 students, the quality of education would increase, and people like Solomon Henderson wouldn't be falling through the cracks.
The other thing about this, which is kind of crazy, is so you've got, and we've tracked the 9 members of the Metro Nashville School Board. They really are a bunch of left-wing lunatics. I mean, every single one of them lacks common sense. And so they hired Adrian Battle, and you listen to her talk, and you say, what is she talking about? She can't. You've asked them to comment. Did you in fact put metal detectors in there in 2020, and did you remove them? They won't answer that simple question. I mean, it's maddening.
Well, and nobody at the school, just to be clear, we've gone to Dr. Adrian Battle, the superintendent. We've gone to the communication department. We've gone to just the general media inquiries. We've talked to individual people. It seems as though nobody at Metro Nashville Public Schools is capable of talking to the media unless you're one of the major mainstream platforms in town that's going to repeat whatever they say without question. And again, why should parents have to put their children in a place where they don't even deign to talk to members of the media who are trying to help? It's rather insulting to the intelligence of Nashville families, I think.
Yeah, and here in Nashville, you've got the synoptic left-wing globalist television stations, WKRN, WSMV, News Channel 5, all owned by out-of-state large corporate conglomerates, just not asking the right questions. And so yesterday, I mean, their big story wasn't we've got a school choice bill going on in the special session. Their big story was Antioch High School students go to state capitol to protest lack of public safety in public schools. Okay, fine. But, I mean, those kids, they're protesting the right thing. They're protesting at the wrong place. Go to the school board. They're the ones who have the direct authority in this matter. Your thoughts, Tom Pappert?
I think the Dr. Adrian Battle would be stunned if these kids actually showed up in front of her office and protested, and she might actually get some results. But maybe even more important, maybe it should be the parents protesting in favor of school choice so they don't have to have their children's essentially security decided by the likes of Adrian Battle and the Metro Nashville School Board.
Now, the other thing going on in a little bit of drama in the Tennessee House of Representatives, the dumbest guy in the Tennessee House of Representatives is, in my view, Representative Jody Barrett. And he proved that. He's an attorney. He's from Dixon. But he proved that because on a silly technicality, he when they threw out the two Justins, he said, well, we can't throw Gloria Johnson out for reasons that were ridiculous. And then that led to the whole, well, you throw the black guys out, but not the white people out. And Jody knew that. He didn't, and he made a bad choice there. Now he's making another bad choice. He's walking around with this letter, talking to anybody in the House of Representatives that will hear him. And he says, well, I'm for school choice, but I'm opposed to this bill. And he says, here's what he says, his main theme: reducing the number of scholarships initially available from 20,000 to 10,000 will dramatically reduce the cost to launch the program and more efficiently accomplish the intended purpose of creating parental choice for students who do not currently enjoy educational freedom with a more targeted approach. That's completely idiotic. What are your thoughts on that?
There's no real logic to it. I don't understand what he thinks he would accomplish by decreasing. By the way, he's opposed to universal school choice. He wants to decrease the number from 20,000 to 10,000, but then he also wants to place strict limits on income, strict limits on how many per family. So that is no longer a universal school choice bill. Now he's just promoting school choice for some people if you're lucky and your family doesn't make too much money.
A Republican, but he is endorsing the Democrat National Committee, their view, which is anti-school choice. We'll see how it plays out. And I think in the end, we're going to get a school choice bill. Tom Pappert, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Michael. Anytime.
All right. We'll be back with more after this. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hey, I'm Governor Bill Lee, and I want to talk to you about an important education bill in Tennessee. Everyone knows that education has the power to change the trajectory of a child's life forever. And anyone who's raised a child knows that each one's different in their educational needs, and their learning styles, and their talents. The fact is, parents know their own children best. They know what's best for their education and their future. That's why I'm here to talk to you about Tennessee's Education Freedom Act. It empowers parents across our state to use their tax dollars to choose the school that allows their child to thrive, regardless of zip code or income, all while making significant investments in Tennessee's public education. If you want to learn how you can help make the Education Freedom Act a reality in Tennessee, go to educationfreedomact.com and write or call your state representatives. It's educationfreedomact.com.
This ad is paid for by Job Creators Network.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, Donald Trump is getting things done. Just as an example, here's a story from Breitbart. Headline, Trump announces military to California, uses emergency powers to, quote, turn on the water from the Pacific Northwest. This is by Paul Boyce. President Trump announced on Monday night he sent the military to California and used his emergency powers to increase water flow from the Pacific Northwest. The United States, he said, quote, the United States military just entered the great state of California and under emergency powers turned on the water flowing abundantly from the Pacific Northwest and beyond. The days of putting a fake environmental argument over the people are over. Enjoy the water, California. Now, this morning, interesting, they said basically, quote, the federal government restarted federal water pumps after they were offline for maintenance for 3 days. State water supplies in Southern California remain plentiful. That's what the California Department of Water Resources said. Yeah, I believe the president on this one. Now, the president has done an awful lot of things via executive order, and the regime media is whining and complaining about it. Here's a story from German-owned Politico. Trump administration orders sweeping freeze of federal aid. In a two-page memo, the Office of Management and Budget ordered all federal agencies to temporarily suspend payments. 1 week in, the Trump administration is broadening its assault on the functions of government. And shifting control of the federal purse strings away from members of Congress. Oh my gosh. Talk about a bunch of propaganda from the left. This is what we're dealing with here, folks. German-owned Politico just can't give it up. Now, let's take a look at what's going on in California right now. Remember, Donald Trump was with Karen Bass, mayor of Los Angeles, on Friday, and he said, well, the people are telling me they can't get into Pacific Palisades to clean out their houses. The mayor said, oh, they can do it. Well, yesterday morning, a resident of Pacific Palisades, mostly, burned down areas, tried to get in. Here's a clip of that interaction.
And then after that, you're able to just go right in.
But why can't I just go now?
That's just my order.
How long is the Orange Pass thing?
I'm not sure if there's an expiration date or anything.
No, but there's a line.
I fully understand that, sir, but there's rules and protocols we got to follow.
So it's January 27th?
Yes, sir.
I haven't been able to get to my house.
Yes, sir.
For 20 days.
I fully understand that.
And it's right down there. It's about 1 minute over there.
Yes, sir.
And here's my address.
Yeah, I fully understand that.
So you want me to go wait in line for 2 hours?
Sir,
that's what they're told. That's what we're told to advise, sir. You have to go down to where he's telling you, to zone 3, and then you get the pass. Once you get the pass, you're able to come up.
But there's like a mile wait to get into zone 3.
I understand, because there's all the people that are trying to get the passes. But
right.
That's what in order for you to get by, past this checkpoint, you need to get that pass.
Right, but President Trump and Mayor Bass said that we could go.
Trust me, I understand. I'm just telling you what we were advised by our command posts. They're telling you the same thing. They were advised by their command posts.
I'm not giving you guys a hard time.
No, I know.
I appreciate your service.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. We we greatly appreciate it, but that's unfortunately one of the things that you have to do.
Okay,
Is go
so-
get a pass.
So I'm back, and it's now January 27th at 9:50 in the morning, and I have to go wait in a multi-hour, probably 5-hour line to get a pass to go to my house.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for your service.
I wish you the best, okay?
Thank you. My
Oh.
house is about 1 minute ahead.
Yeah, and he can't get there. Now, this is why Los Angeles is going to turn Republican. I'm telling you, this is why. This is stupid beyond stupid. The guy's a minute away from his house. The mayor there told everybody on Friday, if you want to go to your house, you can go to your house. It's sort of like Obama saying, if you want to keep your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Lying through her teeth. And so therefore, this poor guy has got to go back down and wait in line for 5 hours to get a stupid pass. Why? I'm just spitballing here. Why can't his valid driver's license serve as a pass? Right? That would make sense, but they're not. They cannot do it. They have to have control, and this is why people like everything there is to know about Donald Trump. People like it. People want more of Donald Trump getting things done. They're sick and tired of this kind of stupidity. But, Democrats have nothing but stupidity going for them. They got no common sense. And this is one of the themes of Donald Trump. Common sense, common sense, common sense. Now, I think what's going to happen in Los Angeles, he threatened to put a czar in there, a special master, if you will, to handle the money. I think it's going to be Rick Grinnell. And I think that's what has to happen. If Rick Grinnell were taking care of the money, he would go to those guys and say, okay, let the driver's license work as a pass. If it's a valid driver's license, check out the license and let him go. That's what should happen. Hey, when we come back, it'll be time for the Tennessee Bonus Hour. Clint Brewer joins us. I'm Michael Patrick. All our stories, TennesseeStar.com, TennesseeStar.com. Back after this.